Hello everybody, welcome to our Saturday special. Today we are building a ladybug hanger. So let me explain. I made the bee and I love the bee. I'm a bee gal, but my mama loves ladybugs, and I keep looking at this bee and I think, why can't I make her a ladybug like that? So that's what we're attempting today. We're gonna work on our ladybug and let's see how this goes. So I used my template that I had for the bee and I modified it. I just drew it out on a piece of wood freehand. Y'all can just either make a paper template or draw it out on the wood, depending on your skill. I've got it clamped down. I'm ready to go. I'm going to use a jigsaw to cut out my pattern. So this is the main body, and then you need the two wings. So I'm going to cut those separately. I just use scrap wood that I have around, and here we go. Let's get started. Put on your safety goggles. Everything cut out. I use this tooth mill file to try and go over some of the edges and smooth things out a little bit. Now we're going to get some sandpaper and we're going to sand everything nice and smooth, make the edges a little rounded more, and just make it nice and smooth and ready for painting. So grab your sandpaper. Here we go. Okay, here we are. We've got this all sanded. It's ready to go. I started out with an 80 grit sandpaper, and then I moved to a 150 just to give it that nice smoothness, especially on top. We don't want any splinters, right? So I've got all my pieces are sanded. They're ready to go to be painted. Mine's going to be used for indoors, so I am just going to paint the wood. I'm not going to bother with any primer or anything like that. I'm going to give it a little bit of a rustic look, and I just knowing it's going to be inside, it'll be protected. If you're going to use this outside, you probably want to do a primer, a good heavy duty paint, and maybe even a cover over it with some sort of a gloss or something to keep it protected. But for indoor, you don't have to take all those steps. So next step we'll be doing is some painting and making it start to really look like a ladybug. All right. Okay, moving on here, we are painting our ladybug. I've made the body black, I've painted it front and back, and the wings I have made them red with black dots. I'm working on my last dot here. To make my dots, I used a cookie cutter. Pick whatever shape you'd like, and I traced it out with a pencil, as you can see, and I was just going around with a paintbrush trying to paint in all my dots here, and I tried it with one of the markers. I tried it with a pen paint marker. It didn't work as well. So I think the freehand with the paintbrush is a better route to go, and paint in all your circles. If you think it needs a second coat, go ahead. I think with the paint I'm using here, it was fine. I don't think my dots need a second coat on them. But just, cover any pencil marks that you have on there. And if there were any knots in your wood, I had a couple little knots on here that still kind of bled through my red paint. So I actually made my dots where those little knots were in the wood. So just go ahead and paint your circles. Make sure that your body has 2 coats on it. I did 2 coats on the black on the body, just so that it stands out good. You want it to stand out nice against the red. So you can see there, it looks pretty good. So there's my last dot. And also, we'll attach those in just a minute, but also I did antennae, and this is going to become the hook on the head of the ladybug. I use floral wire for this, just the plain old green floral wire. This, stretch it out, make it straight, and then I just painted it black. So we're going to attach those in the back with the hook in just a couple minutes here, but finish up your dots and your painting. Here we go. Okay, so I've attached my wings with 2 little nails on the back here. You can see I went from back to front to hold them on, and they're secure in place. I'm going to paint over those nails so you don't see them. And for the antennae and the hook, I just use the staple gun And I stapled the wire on there. I'm gonna paint over those too so you don't see it. It's on the back side, not a big deal. But from the front, looks good. We've got a good little loop here that you can hang this from, and the antennae look cute. You can curl them up if you want to, change it up, but touch up any spots that you need a little touch up on, maybe with paint after assembling everything. But that's it. That's the Ladybug, and I'm super excited to give this to my mama. I think she's gonna like it. So enjoy this project and see what other kind of insects you can make. I hope you liked it, and I hope that brings you great joy, and we'll see you again for another Saturday special.